How is it going, everyone? Welcome to I Wanna Best the 100 Floors. Despite having a new PC, still playing I Wanna Be the Guy fan games, but obviously that will be the case. I mean, just because I have a good PC doesn't mean I cannot play these ones. But especially this one that I want to finish. Well, not now, obviously. There is no way that's gonna happen, but want to finish eventually. I mean, at least we're more than halfway through, simply by looking at the room count, which doesn't mean that, you know, it will be that way duration-wise. So this thing, I feel like it's more quiet than it usually is. I mean the game. Weird. Well, it is a quiet game in general. I think the sound should be fine. So something that I'm testing is the sound of my microphone. Because there's something that I don't like, that sometimes when I speak too loud, my microphone pops, or well, I think people call it clipping, and I don't like that. So because of that, well, kinda wanted to test a limiter. Hopefully it's not screwing me up right now. That will be bad. Wait, can you just simply double jump into the vine and get a... Yeah, that's... Oh, you're supposed to jump down into the vine. Well, that's fine. Just that... Well, you can... Okay, never mind. So you're supposed to jump straight into the platform and then use the vine to go up. And then, I don't know, the other jumps up there look devilish. But yeah, well, I'm gonna check what OBS has to say about this though. Because this limiter, what it does, or what it supposedly does, is that it makes my voice never go over the upper limit of decibels. I mean, that shouldn't happen normally, but I don't know. Sometimes it does happen. I don't know how it's doing now. If it's surpassing the threshold, what is how you hear it? I don't know. Yeah, this is all testing, and well, that's also why this game is a good game to test stuff. You can take it more easily. You don't have to focus for very large periods of time. Hopefully it works. I mean, I just saw OBS and I'm not noticing anything abnormal, but I'll figure out when I listen to it later on. Everything related to microphones, no, well, not just to microphones, to sound, and more important, to sound balance, is very annoying. Very hard to balance sound anywhere. Which it wasn't. I mean, there are tools that make sure that, for example, a game is never louder than you. But even if you do that, you wouldn't know if the game is too quiet, for example. The audio balancing is something annoying if you play a lot of different games. It is what it is. Okay, what's this jump? Ooh, that looks super hard. Damn. And it's the last jump of the checkpoint. That looks very hard. It's fine. I don't know how high you can jump on the first one. But I will assume that you want to jump as high as possible, and then the second jump has to be extremely low. But low and small if we're talking about jumps. Well, the thing is that low always describes the height of the jump. If you should say small, it could also mean horizontally small, or both horizontally and vertically. I guess low will be the right choice here. I also remove another microphone filter because I used to have both a noise gate that I'm pretty sure I still have, and then I had another thing, I don't remember what, but it was because the motherboard that I used to use was not very good, or rather, it's not like the motherboard was bad, it's rather that kind of like, well, I'm not sure about the specifics, but the sound chip wasn't very good, or it just simply was past its expiration date, so it constantly made a buzzing sound. So I had to have, not sure how it's called, but something that kind of like a limiter, but a lower limiter. So instead of having a limiter to make sure that the sound doesn't go too high, is to make sure that a low noise doesn't make it, which is different from a noise gate, though similar. So I don't know what that difference will that make, but I kept the noise gate and I removed the other one. To be honest, I could remove the noise gate as well, but I think that's a bad idea, because it's impossible, unless you are in a studio, it's impossible to have 100% silence, right? There will always be a tiny sound, especially if you live in a city next to a street. You're gonna hear the engine of a car. And things like that always make it to the microphone if you don't use a noise gate. But I think the noise gate is inevitable. You have to use it, no matter what. Well, I don't know if there are microphones that are good enough that even without third-party filters already filter that out by themselves. All I know is that this one is supposed to be a budget microphone, so don't expect it to have something like that by default, and in fact it doesn't have it. Pretty sure it didn't even came with software, like just a generic microphone that you connect and it's supposed to work. Typical plug and play. Well, plug and play, I think it's a USB concept, but it's also an expression people use normally, but I'm not sure how things that get connected to the audio jacks, if they are considered plug and play. I mean, they are considered plug and play in the fact that you connect them and they work, but the drivers usually are not from the microphone, but rather from the motherboard. I don't know, those type of technical things I'm not very sure. But yeah, this thing is very generic, so I cannot expect any sort of filtering being done by any driver or anything like that. So I do it through OBS, And I mean, all this time, we'll say that it's been working quite fine, the OBS noise gate. So here I'm just testing the limiter. There are some times that I don't know why, but my voice goes high enough that it starts popping. Well, and I gotta be thankful that I'm not the kind of streamer that screams. There are a lot of streamers out there that screaming is mandatory. I don't do that, but sometimes I guess I should raise my voice. Wait, will this kill me if I do a full jump here? Yeah, the answer is yes. So you cannot do a full jump. Well, that's a shame. Doing a full jump, at least will make sure that the first jump is not a problem. But yeah, the second one, I have a feeling that you gotta like somehow be around here to avoid this top mini spike, but I don't know how. So yeah, I guess it is what it is. So, since I completely finished making the needle parts of my fan game, maybe I'm also a little bit cold when it comes to getting used to needle again. Well, not like it's been that long since I finished it, but that could have worked if I did it slightly sooner. It was at the right spot. This first checkpoint is packing a punch. What will be the progress today? Is the question. Last stream. Nice. Last stream the progress was crazy. I feel like I won't be able to replicate something like that, but it will be so cool if I could replicate it. Yeah, I don't know. Well, just like with any vine jump, this thing looks like a pain in the ass. I think the progress will have to depend on that. How many vine jumps are you gonna make me do? Most of this didn't have vine jumps. I will assume that I could probably progress a lot again, but yeah, that's part of the problem. Okay. I could have double jump to give me more space, but I feel like that will be counterproductive. I also don't know if I want to land on the left side of that. Wouldn't I just jump straight to the other platform? No, probably not. Yeah, that looks rough. But that's fine. It will be impossible at this point in the game to find a checkpoint that doesn't look rough. It will be more surprising to find a checkpoint that doesn't look rough, yeah. That will be the surprising thing. But at least when this room is over, there will be a new zone with new appearance, new music, and that's it. Because the gimmicks are still the same. far. At least so far, I haven't seen the game add any gimmick outside of the classic ones. Well, the classic ones plus Champ Refresher. That one is not classic. What I can't remember is if the original Iguana had either this type of water or if it had refreshing water. Okay, so you got a champ very low on that, and it's probably a full champ to get to the other side. Then the final champ is relatively normal, but it's a choke check. It's the last champ of the checkpoint. It's there simply to make you flinch. That's fine by me. I don't like the fact that the next checkpoint not only has vines, but it has two of them with water. Actually, you know what? The next checkpoint, just by looking at it casually, I think it has the potential to get me stuck in the same way I got stuck in checkpoint 42. Well, on room 42. On that last checkpoint. Like, this just looks devilish. Like, binding to water. Oh, and I think that here you even need to hold the champ button until you fall here. Yeah, I don't know. This... I mean, yeah, we will see. I gotta worry about this one now. Very tempted to check if I can just jump straight in onto the other side without landing on the left side of that spike. Promise that landing there is already hard, so I don't want to throw an attempt to the dumpster. It's like a bad idea. And not to mention that I think that already have built some muscle memory to simply do that. No, I don't think it's possible, and if it is possible, it's way harder. Because you gotta somehow get past the other top spike on the other side. Yeah, probably not a good idea. That top spike there is also quite annoying. Huh, really? Damn, these top spikes are fucking me up. All of them. Nice. I didn't fall for the choke check. So, this thing. This looks disgusting, to say the least. So, if you hold the champ there, then Holding the champ here looks so messed up. Essentially, when you champ from the water into the champ refresher, I think you have no choice but to hold the champ button until you reach the bottom line. That sucks, but yeah. I think it's what I'm supposed to be doing. So, good luck with that. Well, good luck with that and with whatever bullshit comes afterwards too. So I'm not sure if I can simply float to the left. I mean, float in the water to the left and make that work. I don't think it works that way. Oh, it does, Tim, but that's so precise. Both floating left without hitting the spikes and then sticking to the vine and then obviously doing everything else. That's so annoying, all of it. I mean, at least it also seems that the final champ is a choke check. Doesn't seem that hard, but yeah, to get there is the problem. It's still one of those checkpoints that has the potential to make you get stuck for a very long time. That's not good. That's far from good. Too much to the left. Being precise after that. Well, and then once you get to the water here, you have to land here. Well, actually, no, you don't need to do that. You can land here. I didn't see that time. I'm glad I decided to check. I was out to land here, but you don't really need to. You can just jump into this, then double jump, and then double jump into this, and then to the warp. Okay. Sure. So be it. Gotta hold it. Gotta hold that champ. Okay. Yeah, and then land there. Yeah, that will be rough. This is one of those things that if you ask me if this champ is possible, I will tell you no. This is a very messed up angle. Like, you jump here, and then from here you're supposed to land in this platform. From here. I cannot see the trajectory where that works, but if it's there, it means it works. Well, we will see. Yeah, that's very hard. I mean, thankfully the champ that comes afterwards shouldn't be that hard, but that one looks rough. Quite rough. I got too cocky there. champ that already starts, well, at checkpoint I mean, already starts with a very annoying champ. Maybe in that champ on the bottom left I need to be more ballsy. I feel like I'm holding back from going left because I feel like I'm gonna get hit by the spike. And so far I haven't gotten hit by the spike. All of the deaths have been by falling. I don't mean that spike, I mean the horizontal ones on the top. The one facing left and right. That one. I still have not hit that. I have only fallen or hit the one before. But that one I haven't hit it. So that means that I should... Now I did. Okay, in that case we can confirm that champ sucks. That champ is just fucked up. Good to know. It's fine. Okay. Nice. Oh, we're going to a nice place. Well, at least there are no ice physics. Gotta be thankful about that. I do feel like the music is very quiet. I don't know why. It doesn't seem like in OBS is... Well, okay, this one is quiet. Even in OBS. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's a quiet song. It's not like I made it quiet. But unless it picks up later. So far it's extremely quiet. Maybe it will pick up later. Team, I just glance at the bottom right checkpoint. Okay, that doesn't look very nice. Team, that looks so cancerous. Okay, the song does pick up. Does OBS? Yeah, okay. I guess according to OBS, the volume of this song should be fine. Then it's one of... Oh, I'm stupid. This is not a floor. I was trying to land here, but these are spikes. You're supposed to land on the left and then double jump. I was sure this was a floor. Like, I was just not paying enough attention. My bad, my bad. I mean, it doesn't help that the color of the floor and the spikes is so similar. But yeah, no, it was my bad that I didn't check. I didn't bother to check. They are still hard jumps. And then once you get to the water on the right, you go to the platform, to this platform, and then you jump. Wait, can you save the jump? No, right? actually not sure about this one. If you jump into this and you jump out of the water, do you even save your jump? Or do you have to do the jump straight? That's something that I could check beforehand. I mean, I shouldn't have danger of dying by just checking. Also check it there with the spike, but that's a bad idea. It's a bad idea because of the spike. But, you know, I'll check it when I get to the water on the right. Well, when? If, maybe I should say. When I get there, yeah. Oh, that's easier. Instead of jumping here, you should let yourself fall and jump in the air. That's way easier than trying to double jump. Alright, well that's good to know. But I don't know if way easier. Maybe I got too cocky. Not that much easier actually. Didn't even jump. I think that they are both just as hard actually. So yeah, forget about it. The problem is that every time the song finishes, it will take a long time for it to pick up again. You know? It takes too long. Like a 1 minute build up for a 4-minute song or something like that. It doesn't seem like a good proportion. This checkpoint looks hard already. And the other ones, I don't know, but the bottom right looks terrible. Seems that you might be entering a new place to get filtered. I was talking about OBS filters earlier. This will be a progress filter. Most likely. Appreciate if the... Well, I understand this is Needle, so you will probably want to have visual clarity over everything, but it would be nice if something was animated. Oh, I can't believe I failed that jump, dude. Like, I don't know, either the background or the spikes or even the tile set. It would be nice to have a little bit of animation. Otherwise it looks too dead. Yeah, I guess since it's supposed to be Needle and you're supposed to be precise, you gotta cut out the distractions. understandable. But then, this checkpoint seems like a very rough introduction to this zone. So there have been checkpoints like this all across the game. Checkpoints that are just a very rough way to get into the new zone. I guess zones are relative here. It's only a visual thing. The logic, or rather the gimmicks and all of that, they don't change. So it doesn't save your jump. So you're supposed to jump to the save from here? That's crazy. Like, you cannot use the water. Fuck. That's what you're supposed to do. You're actually supposed to make it. You could hear a shoot sound. I tried to shoot to see if I could get to the save, but no. I couldn't. That's a shame. Hey, that's a hard jump. It would be free if the water had the decency of saving your jump, but it doesn't, so that's a problem. That left-facing spike is so fucked up. I cannot expect this to get any easier. Just that coming from a stream that had so much progress, feels like you wanna keep that up. I don't think I can. First jumps were easier. Wouldn't be that big of a deal, but I feel like the only easy jump of this checkpoint is this one. The one that goes from here into the water. And I failed that once anyway, so yeah, I don't know if it's that easy. Now twice. It's barely not that easy. It's a checkpoint that in its entirety is quite fucked. It's fine. I mean, according to the reviews of this game, if I remember correctly, you start getting a respite in floor 70. Well, 70 to 90, I think. I don't know. It's a very personal thing. Everyone finds hard something completely different, you know? This checkpoint seems like a real trial. Even the next checkpoint doesn't seem that bad. The third one does, but the second one seems okay. The one that comes afterwards, that one also doesn't look that bad. I don't know. Really, dude? The problem is that there are so many spikes everywhere. Like, if you look at the free space, you wanna call it that way, that this checkpoint has, it's very little. I mean that it's a very claustrophobic checkpoint. Obviously, it's an idle game, so it's gonna be full of spikes, but this one just feels like the spikes are choking you. Even more so than the other ones. You do one bad movement and you're hitting a spike. One slight bad movement. Really? I mean, that's what I mean. That champ, for example, I that at the very end simply because whatever, forget about it. Nice. Yeah, just forget about it. Whatever I was out to say wasn't valuable. Alright, well, at least finally passed that shit, but what does this one has in store? Like, it simply doesn't look that hard, this checkpoint in particular. The hardest part is getting past this wooden plank thingy. But the champs afterwards look, I wouldn't say free, but they look like the kind of thing that you will find in an adventure fun game. An easy one at that, I mean. Yeah, when you say adventure fun game, it depends what you're talking about. If that additional champ means that it's just there to help me, not to do anything else. nice. I guess the gate will be the annoying part, but it's whatever. Yeah, as I say, the second half of that is free, but yeah, the problem now is that this checkpoint is trash. Okay, so if you want to, you could take this Align to walk off, but then again, you're supposed to hit a bind, so walking off doesn't matter, because you need to hold champ anyways. So you're not gonna walk off no matter what. But this checkpoint looks absolutely cancerous. I mean, anything that will be full of binds will look like that, of course. It's nobody's surprise. So, on this other vine, I don't think you're supposed to hold, right? If you hold, you're gonna hit the ceiling. Well, you could, but I don't think it's the idea. It does work, though. But yeah, at the same time, I don't know, dude. Anything with binds is trash, so trying to analyze this more deeper than binds are trash, I think that doesn't really make sense. It's gonna be hard because binds are hard. But yeah, after that one, well, you don't need an additional champ here, right? Well, you don't have it anyway, so not like it will be useful. But yeah, you will just champ into this. And then the game has the gall to have another vine champ at the end. It's fine. I have a feeling that Mr. Creator might struggle with this, with the wooden platforms, because otherwise having a checkpoint as easy as the previous one, followed by this shit, and also preceded by the previous one, doesn't seem to make much sense. So maybe this guy is a vine god. Maybe Macedonia is extremely good with vines, and it's exactly a reason why checkpoints like this exist. It could also be that I'm specifically bad with vines. That's also a possibility. It's gonna be rough. And I haven't paid that much attention to the last checkpoint, but that one doesn't seem that hard either. It's this one and the first ones, the ones that are the heavy hitters, or more like the heavy cheaters. I'm just kidding. Just me being bad with this. Man, it would be so nice to have a game like this but without binds. It would be fantastic. A dream come true even. But without binds, but without any other gimmick that would be just as annoying. How the fuck did you die to that, dude? That was disappointing. Too low. I guess some checkpoints you simply can't tell from a distance how they are gonna be. This is one of them. Team, dude. I mean, I can't say that that champ is super precise. I feel like this is where the checkpoint should end. No, it's okay. That's just the soul talking. I'm not being reasonable. But man, this is Vines. Vine used to be a social media, like TikTok. It was kind of like a prototype TikTok. I think it's dead. I don't know. I don't think I remember hearing anyone saying anything about Vine. So I will assume it's dead. You will be surprised. I mean, after all, sites like Vimeo that, compared to something like YouTube, have almost no traffic, they still exist. Or maybe Vine still exists, but I feel like I remember hearing that it closed. I don't know why or how I even heard that. I could Google it. Let me check. Is Vine still alive? Vine. Well, the problem is that if I put Vine... Oh, it is still alive. Huh. Or no? Never mind. They have an archive. Okay, my bad. I think it died in 2018. And that was more than I expected. That's 6 years ago. Whoops. They just left they left the page in an archive state. Apparently you can see the stuff there. But yeah. That's funny. Okay, when you try to compete with absolute monster corporations, it's a problem. I mean, I even wonder how Vimeo still keeps itself afloat. Because it's not a matter of being the best platform in the market, it's about the fact that you're hosting videos. Hosting videos is extremely expensive to do. Because it's not just a matter of storing the videos people upload, which is already a lot since we're talking about millions of users, but it's also having them available all over the world. Like, have enough servers that can constantly transfer those videos to everywhere in the world. You need such an insane infrastructure there to make it work. But it's just one of those things that if you are not a popular platform, you're gonna die. The costs are not small. It's not a blogspot. I mean, you can maintain a blogspot even if nobody cares about it. It doesn't take a lot of money to maintain, or none at all if it's self-hosted. Well, yeah, you will pay for the internet service, yes, but the point is that the cost has nothing to do with something like a video platform. That market is kinda fucked. If you're not a top dog, you're most likely gonna get munched. by the competition. I'm surprised that Kick is still alive. I'm not sure if it's gonna survive for very long either. I guess the fact that he already survived, like, what, a year? Well, probably more than a year. The fact that it survived that is surprising enough. Dude, I got killed by every single spike in that champ, it feels. And then the follow-up champ, this distance between these two spikes, you can actually squeeze the kid through here. But I don't know if it's a good idea, I guess. You will sacrifice your angle. If you try to specifically set yourself up to be here... No, it should be fine, actually. The problem is what comes afterward. The easiest way to die on this champ is to make the last bind champ too high. That's the problem. In fact, that's how I most likely will die. I don't doubt it for a second. We will see how it goes. That champ sucks, dude. Well, the whole checkpoint sucks. Anything that has binds as its focus sucks. Though, as always, we gotta look at the bright side. If the creator wanted, this could have ice physics. Damn it, dude, that was too low. That was the right strat. It's just that I guess the... Well, I don't even know if I had time to champ. I probably should have gone higher, but man... This whole thing is fucked. And obviously you cannot jump straight into the save. You need to use that bind. Okay. I'm surprised that I got that on the first try. I mean, I guess the second one, but I mean that I didn't die to the top spikes here. That's the surprising part. So now the question is this checkpoint as easy as it look from the outside? Does this checkpoint look easy on the outside? Will it be the case? I mean, I will assume that it's easier than the previous one no matter what, but that's not a hard thing to do, being easier than that. Okay, that might be the hardest jump here. I mean, enough altitude there. It seems like a simple task. I mean, that one is not that hard either, but thought it was gonna be easier. Yeah. And that one, I think it's hard because a full champ wouldn't make it. You will hit the ceiling and die. But it has to be very precise, because otherwise you are not making it past that. I mean, there is no way a full champ works, right? Because the fact that you hit the ceiling is obvious. It's guaranteed that at that distance you hit the ceiling. But is hitting the ceiling something that kills you? And I think it is. So I guess we gotta be precise. Oh, really, dude? I feel like I didn't hold left for that long. It feels like this asshole has a mine on its own. It would be funny if the following floors are way easier. And they could be. But this floor has taken quite a big amount of time and it's still not over yet, so it's a very rough introduction into these ice floors. It's okay. Nice. Well, at least that floor is done for. Well, we are done with that floor. That's what I want to say. Okay. How will the ice behave? Well, I'm usually never a fan of ice zones in games. I guess the exception is the ice cap in Sonic 3, but that's also an annoying level. I mean, it has a lot of places that without momentum you can't continue. Sometimes the momentum is annoying to gain. Yeah, I'm not sure. But usually by the time you reach that level in Sonic 3, you tend to have all the Chaos Emeralds. Well, I mean, it depends on how you play, but if you actually care about collecting the Chaos Emeralds, you tend to have them at that point. And if you do that, yeah, you can just breeze through most of it. Most of it, not all of it, because as I say, a lot of places still require momentum. And yeah, regardless of if you turn into Super Sonic or not, you still need to do some shit. But hey, at least the spikes don't hurt you. It's always nice. Yeah, platform champ is hard, but gotta look at the bright side. There's only one Vine champ, so I'm not sure how that checkpoint looks. Without paying attention exactly to how it's arranged, I think it's hard to tell what's the... how that checkpoint works. By that I mean the next checkpoint. If you have some water shit and then a platform on the left. Okay, I think I know how it works. You need to jump here, then you hold the jump, fall here into the vine, and then with the jump you held, you double jump here and then into the checkpoint. Okay, it's understandable though. I'm not sure if it's easy. It certainly doesn't look that way at first glance. But yeah, this one with that wooden platform also doesn't look very easy. I mean, it's hard to position yourself. You're supposed to be around here, but if you keep jumping left, you kinda over-jump this. But if you stay here, the lower spike is too close, not to mention this whole shit on the top. Well, and then the final jump from here to the checkpoint, like, this one is already fucked, but then you have a gate jump at the end, just like the icing on top. I mean, the icing on top. You say the cherry on top. Well, the icing can also be on top. Well, in fact, it is on top. Don't usually put the icing on a cake in the middle. It's in the top. But, you get the point. The gate is the cherry on top, or the icing, or whatever. Whatever is your favorite shit on cakes. I personally don't like fruits on cakes. Like, fruits don't belong on cakes. When people say the cherry on top, well, I guess it's an ironic thing. Most people use the expression cherry on top to refer to bad things in an ironic way. So in that regard, calling it the cherry on top, I guess, is acceptable to me. So I would hate to have fruits on a cake. So a cherry on top will be the perfect ruining touch. Yeah. little bit more to the right. I hesitated. Makes sense because there are too many spikes on the wall, so you can just go all the way to the right. Yeah, but then afterwards, that champ is ultra fucked up. It feels like that champ into the checkpoint should be the first champ in a checkpoint, not the last one. Unless there's something I'm not seeing, that last champ looks super hard. Like, it shouldn't be the last champ of a checkpoint. Especially not a checkpoint like this that... Well, to be fair, this checkpoint only has 4 champs. Actually, no, it has... Well, depends on what you consider a champ. Nice, I got it. Well, okay, forget about it. Forget about it. There's no problem. So here you're intended, as I said before, you go to the left platform, so that way you can hold the champ to then fall into the vine. Yeah, like that, but actually falling down into the vine and then double champ, and well, the rest should be obvious. But yeah, what might not be obvious for people that don't know how vines work is that well, it's also hard to squeeze in between these two things from a vine. I will assume that if you don't know how vines work, you wouldn't have gotten this far into the game. There are a lot of other places that also use the same gimmick as you need to hold champ no matter what, and you need to find out the way to hold champ. Ah, that was close. And then the last champ is not hard, but it's the classic choke check that this game loves to have so much. I think most fun games have those choke checks. It's not a bad thing, actually. Having a very easy champ, or rather an easier than normal champ at the end of a checkpoint, I think it's a good practice. Yeah, got it. Didn't choke. Right, is that cheesable? Or will I risk getting soft lock? I have a feeling that I have enough room to activate the save from the bottom. I mean, I wouldn't get soft lock with how this game works, but will it even give me any benefit? I guess I wouldn't have to do that champ. This first champ is easy, but the second one, not so much. So I guess it will save me from doing that, assuming... No, I don't think you can do it. And if you can do it, it's so precise that probably gonna be harder than doing the checkpoint the intended way. So what's the intended way of doing this? You double jump into the water. That's a gate jump, by the way, that you're supposed to do while you're in the water. Then you jump here. Double jumping. Okay. So the hardest part is essentially getting past this gate jump. That's the challenge. Like, once you land into the platform on the right, the following jumps are not that hard. That gate jump looks evil, and even getting into the water barge there is also hard. Yeah, this one... This checkpoint could take a while, and it all depends on that gauge jump. How much I'm gonna take to successfully do that gauge jump. Because yeah, you can get past it, but then you have to land in the water and then jump into the right platform. What about the last checkpoint? Last checkpoint looks surprisingly easy. The last checkpoint looks easy. Oh, I don't regret saying that. But it does look easy. It's hard to, after doing the gauge jump, to still be on the water. Usually when you do a gauge jump, you don't try to be as close to the spike as possible, but here, I mean obviously, because otherwise you will land on the spike, but here you're intended to do that. So I gotta really go against my muscle memory here. That's a shame. Even that jump is challenging. Even after you successfully got past the gate. Oh, that was too short, didn't it? Though this is a tricky jump. Like, this would be free if the ceiling in this game wasn't a collision, but it is. If there was no collision, you can just simply do a full jump, but having a collision means that you can hit your head and you will go down. So you're supposed to jump from very low into the water barge. A full jump might be possible, however, but I don't know. I mean, I went for a short jump precisely because I guess I subconsciously expected the ceiling to hit me, but I did it way too short. Yeah, and that one was also too short. I probably have, I mean, I could try a full jump, but might be a mistake. I feel like even if I jump from that low, a full jump will still hit my head. That's bad. really want to try that champ again, but struggling to get there. And I almost over-champed it that time. Okay, I guess, unfortunately, I underestimated that champ. It's not as easy as it looks whatsoever. Damn it, dude. That's the first time those mini spikes killed me, god damn it. I think that in Needle games, that has to be one of the most frustrating feelings when you die to every spike in a checkpoint. Okay, you got it. There are so many times where you just die to a spike that is different from the previous one. Okay, as I say, that last checkpoint is absolutely free. It's unbelievable, dude. I really feel like, I don't know, your tester might have lied to you. Well, unless your tester's only job was to make sure the game didn't have any bugs. But a game like this, it's impossible to have bugs. Like, unless you start messing with code that you shouldn't, like placing spikes and gimmicks that are already pre-made, like, it's impossible to somehow cause a crash. A crash or a bug in general. The only thing that could bug you here, and I mean, that would obviously be because you didn't pay enough attention, but is if a warp doesn't lead to the next room and instead leads to completely unrelated room, or one of the sides of the screen doesn't have a collision, so you just fall off the map. Those are the kind of things you could have, but that's something that gets solved by paying attention. On the other hand, anything else is standardized to the point that you cannot go wrong with it. You simply cannot cause any bugs here. Not with the tools that we currently have, obviously. Things like Game Maker Studio, doing a Needle game is the easiest thing you can do. Well, Needle games are the easiest type of fun game you can do, without a doubt. But yeah, with modern tools like Game Maker Studio, it should be impossible for you to somehow encounter bugs in a Needle game. Unless obviously the Needle game has something else, but at that point it will be going more for something like an adventure route rather than a full needle game. So yeah, if the tester's shop was testing the balance, I don't know, bro. I think the tester was a stone. Well, but then again, the tester could tell you that a checkpoint is unbalanced, and it's all up to the dev to change it. If they don't want to change it, they don't have to. This collection of champs seems hard, and differently from the previous two floors. Here, there is only two saved, aside from the first one. So there are 3 checkpoints in total, which, depending on what champs you put, it wouldn't be a problem. At least there is one good thing, actually, now that I see it, is that the other 2 checkpoints don't use a single gimmick. They are pure needle. It's only this first one that has, well, both a vine and a water parch. But yeah, the other 2 are the purest needle you can find. Which doesn't mean it's gonna be easy, mind you, but because you don't have to deal with vine nonsense or with water timing. You have to deal with your own reflexes. Okay, you do it like that, but moving less to the right. Then the following champ you could probably pull champ into very short champ here. And this one is fucked up because, as I say, the ceiling being solid. Actually, this last champ looks super hard. Damn it. No, it's fine. I mean, progress-wise, I don't think this is a bad base. I mean, after all, it's a base that, you know, it's... if I make it to floor 65 to the end of the stream, that will be 5 floor space, which is not bad. Not as good as the previous stream, but it's obviously not bad. I guess we are fine for now. We're on solid pace. Didn't even make it to the ceiling there. Just die before it. I guess that champ... Well, it either has to be more neutral here, or you do it from the left side, like all the way to the left of the platform. And then when you champ, you just hold right. That could be the right choice too. Yeah, that might work. Jumping from the left side and holding right, but at the same time, it cannot be a full jump, because that one was essentially a full jump. And you hit the wall and die. I don't know, that jump looks tough. If you make a needle game, don't do that. Don't make the last jump of a checkpoint that is already challenging that hard. That's just a bad idea. Yeah, but the issue is that if I jump from there, I'm unfortunately too tempted to move right way too early. That ends up fucking me up, obviously. I can't help it. I gotta say that the strategy of jumping from the left is probably the best one, but I feel like I'm also making it more complicated by doing that. But it's placed in such an awkward way. It's such an awkward jump that I can't help but die by moving right too early. It is a problem. It's hard no matter what, though. The timing is way too precise for being the final jump. And you're not supposed to, but I mean, here the room you have between the ceiling and the top of this spike is essentially the size of your character. And I don't feel you have the angle here. I don't know. I think it's one of those champs where the more you think about it, the less sense it makes. It's better to not think too hard about it and just get carried by the flow. And it almost worked. Getting carried by the by the flow almost worked. That's a shame. So close. Very close. That one was also close. At this point, there is no reasoning here. It's just a very hard champ, very precise, so you just gotta do it. It's a shame because the more I play this game, the more I feel like I don't know, that there really was no balance attempt whatsoever. I know that balancing games is hard, making the difficulty progressively harder instead of just having it be a, a roller coaster of spikes. And by spikes I mean difficulty spikes, not literal spikes like the ones that kill you. But I know it's hard, but I feel like there are some checkpoints like this one that you have to know that final jump is really hard, which in turn will make the whole checkpoint hard because the beginning is not free. I don't know. Not to mention that one checkpoint that, I mean, I guess it's from that point onward that it kind of felt like this wasn't very tested. The fact that you can just skip a whole checkpoint altogether. That's the kind of thing that if you just test a checkpoint, you will know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too picky, but it feels like the balance testing wasn't very well done. Hey Wasabi, how is it going? Is this another part that you expect to get stuck? I mean, that's something that I could only tell you at the end of the stream. If I'm still here in this checkpoint by the end of the stream, then the answer is yes. But it's one of those things that it just seems like, as I always say, it's RNG. It feels like it might or might not be the case, and it will all go down to luck. When you have a champ that is that precise, unless you know exactly what needs to be done, and your fingers also do, you are gonna rely on getting lucky. And champs like that were also in other parts of the game, but it just feels evil to have it at the end of a checkpoint for absolutely no reason. It's what I say, I feel like testing wasn't done very well. It's also because it's a bigger project. The previous games by this author were shorter. I mean, the previous one was literally half the length, but also easier. A game being easier means that it should also be easier to test. But this one not only is long, but also not the kind of thing that anyone can just pick up and beat. So, yeah. I might get stuck here, I don't know. We will see. All I know is that if I get stuck in this checkpoint, I'm putting this game into the backlog and probably not touching it until half a year. Because getting stuck in a checkpoint like this is just not very exciting at all. So yeah, no thank you. But I don't know, it could be the case, it could not be the case. I cannot know that. Also, on an unrelated note, I've been testing the PS2 emulator to play one of the games that I couldn't play with my previous computer, and unfortunately the game still has errors. Like, this time it's not slowdowns for lack of power, but rather that the emulator doesn't emulate it properly. Like, textures don't get rendered correctly, for example. So yeah, essentially, if there was any doubt, which there wasn't, but in case anyone had any doubt that the PS2 emulator is fucking putrid trash, well, now there shouldn't be. You see, it's a very easy argument when a game doesn't work well and it's like, well, get a better PC. I got it. Nice. Nice. Did you set the emulator differently than last time? No, in fact, last time I also had that issue. It's just that it wasn't the only issue that I had. With my previous PC, the textures were broken, but the game also ran like shit. So at that point I was like, well, okay, it's just that my processor is not powerful enough. And yeah, that's correct for the slowdown, but the textures not working is something else. There is an option that is called blending accuracy, I think. Maybe I should change that. But see, the problem is that when you look up documentation of the PS2 emulator, most documentation talks about software mode and hardware mode. That's something that modern builds don't have. So that's worthless. All that testing for modern builds is absolutely worthless. So I have no documentation of this game and what works and what doesn't. Because everything on the internet right now is obsolete. So yeah, it will have to be trial and error. I'm assuming that blending accuracy is the setting to change, but I don't know. It might not be, who knows. But what I do know is that the PS2 emulator is trash, and this will be true no matter when you hear this. Unless you build it from the ground up, that emulator will still be trash. And maybe it's something that will never happen. There won't be any person that will be able to code a decent PS2 emulator. Maybe no one is smart enough to do so. It's possible. I know I'm not. But even people that are way smarter than me, maybe they still are not smart enough to make a decently working PS2 emulator. But it's still sad that one of the best consoles, if not the best console in video game history, as such a shit emulator. It really pisses me off. But whatever. This is volunteer work, so you cannot complain for volunteer work that is also free. Or you can, just that you cannot make any sort of demands, because you are not entitled to anything. You didn't pay for it. It's not a product you're entitled to complain about or to demand about it. So yeah, it is what it is. But man, I would be more than willing to pay someone not to develop an emulator like that, because that will require more money than I have. But if someone like Sony actually release an official emulator that work, which wouldn't happen, but in a parallel universe where Sony will do that, I will pay money for it. Like, without a second thought. If you can guarantee that every PS2 game, or at least a 90% of PS2 games work flawlessly, look, man, here is my money. But it's not gonna happen. This account on the PSX2 forum. PSX2 sucks. That's the name of the user. Well, he's right. He's correct. So what? Did you literally type PCSX2 sucks on Google? Did you do that? That's funny. But yeah, that emulator is trash, and it's a shame. But then again, see, the problem is that when I say that it's trash, people might think that it's an emulator that doesn't work whatsoever, or that only plays like 10% of the games. No, it's not trash like that. It's trash that it simply always has a problem. There are very little games that work flawlessly in that emulator. There's always one problem, at least, for a game. The exceptions are usually 2D games, but then again, if your emulator is struggling running 2D games, yeah. Those are exceptions, but when you come to actual 3D games, which are a very big part of the PS2, yeah. I searched if it was good or not, and that came up alongside prices for it. I mean, the thing is that this is a case of how politically correct you wanna be. I personally don't care about being, well, I don't know if political is the right word, but like how, I don't know, brand friendly, I don't know what name to use, but the thing is that yes, obviously, a volunteer work that is offered for free alongside the source code, that works, or at least runs games, just like that, in an architecture that is apparently hard to decipher, well, whatever you pronounce that word. The point is that that's impressive, of course, and the people working on it, that selfless act of doing that is praiseworthy. So that will be the politically correct way of saying, you know, talking about that emulator. But at the end of the day, as a user, the fact that it's always, as I said, a thing that there is at least one problem with any game you try to play, and it's a problem that now most documentation is worthless because the options were completely revamping the newest version. That is very annoying, and even if you can use the justification of the architecture is hard to work with, there are other emulators of more powerful consoles that maybe are not that complex, but they are way more powerful, like the PS3 emulator. Like the PS3 emulator works better than the PS2 emulator. How is that possible? Because I could compare it also with Dolphin, which is a GameCube and Wii emulator, and well, that's the best emulator that exists currently. But even comparing it with the supposed next generation of that console, and the emulator is just better. That's fucked up. Like every PS3 emulator that I played so far had no issues, and the few issues that they had were fixable by changing some settings. It is also true that the games that I play didn't really require a lot of PC to run, but that's besides the point, because the game that I was trying today, which is Ridge Racer 5, which is a game that I really wanna play, that game with this monster of a computer that I have right now runs well. It's not a matter of not running well, it's a matter that there are graphical errors. So no matter how good your PC is or how simple the game is, you gotta tweak something. And I don't know what, and I don't even know if it's possible. Maybe it's just not possible. Maybe it just won't work no matter what you do. And that is what sucks. So that excuse of the fact that I'm playing PS3 games that don't require a lot of PC to run, I don't think that's a good excuse. Because it's not a matter of power, it's a matter of emulation accuracy. Or, I guess accuracy is not the word, because that's something very technical that if you're a player you don't really care about. It's simply about the game working as intended, even if it's not accurate from an instruction standpoint, you know? I did post a link to a forum just now, so maybe you could ask there. Nah. No, forums, well, first of all, if I ask anywhere, it will have to be on the Discord, because forums are fucking dead, not to mention the few people that are still using forums, they really seem like they all have a stick up their asses. Every time that I read a forum answer, it really feels like those people are constantly at the defensive, in a defensive stance. They are constantly being aggressive when no one is being aggressive. Like if you ask something like, hey, this thing doesn't work, what should I do? They start by blaming you. It's like, well, there's something wrong in your computer. Post the logs and all of that shit. Like, come on, dude. What's your problem? Not to mention that it will obviously take longer to answer than something that is direct like Discord. But yeah, I don't know, dude. Hold up. Nice. Whew. I was about to say, yeah, it's less of a matter of figuring out how to run this specific game, and more to the fact that this problem shouldn't be happening. That's my argument. My argument is that if emulators that emulate stronger consoles don't have the amount of bullshit that you have to deal with this emulator, there is a problem there. And it's always there unless your game is extremely simple 2D game, right? But yeah. I'm probably just gonna find something else to play, especially because I have a lot of ideas of the games that I could play next. Like, since I was able to, for example, beat Street Fighter 2 HD Remix, I want to play the next one, which is Ultra Street Fighter 2. That's one option, and that one should work because it's a matter of capturing my Switch. My other idea is also playing the Sega Rally Championship games. The trilogy. Previously I only played the first one, but I want to play the whole trilogy, which is something that should work because one of them, well, I already know it works as I already beat it. The other one, I tested it the other day and it seems like it works. And the third one is on PS3. And it's a Sega arcade game, so it's just like Afterburner Climax, I will assume it will work without problems. So I have things to play. It's not like I have to play this game no matter what, but it just upsets me that it doesn't work. It should. And I understand that nowadays Ridge Racer is a franchise that doesn't really have almost any popularity left. But we are definitely not talking about an obscure PS2 game. If I was, if I was trying to play a game that only has like, I don't know, like 3,000 sales worldwide on the PS2 era, that nobody knows about or cares about, I will understand. I'm pretty sure Ridge Racer 5 is not the case. Because yeah, it wouldn't have the popularity that something like God of War has. But come on, dude, it's not obscure. But yeah, it's whatever. There is another idea I have of a game to play, which is also a PS2 game, which is the Initial D game. That one, when I tried to play it on my previous PC, there were some parts that it seemed like it slowed down. But with this one, that shouldn't happen. I don't know if there are texture issues, there could be. But yeah, all I know is that that one could work. But yeah, I'm still not sure of what to play, honestly. I have a lot of options. There's also Wipeout on the PS2. Ace Combat 4 as well. A lot of options of games that I couldn't play before and now I can play. But obviously things that like Elden Ring are also a possibility. But Elden Ring... yeah, that one I'm not ready yet. I'm not psychologically ready for that game. But I also don't have it. I will have to buy it. I don't know if before that I will, for example, want to play something like Sekiro again. Sekiro was a very good game, and it was one of the first games I played, which means that the playthrough is written with internet issues, dog shit encoder that I used to have, and also there were some places that I had to decrease the resolution because it didn't, like, my processor couldn't run it properly. Though that's more to the fact that the game is not super well optimized, but yeah. I mean, it's kind of like Dark Souls 3 in that regard. It's a game that on PC has very shit optimization. Well, that's also another thing I could do. I could play New Game Plus in Dark Souls 1. There are a lot of things I could do. Well, when the summer sale, oh sorry, winter sale comes, I could also buy Street Fighter 6 and play that game, which previously I couldn't. Because my computer wasn't good enough, and even if it was good enough, the encoder will be total dog shit for that. So yeah. I have a lot of options, but yeah, I don't know. All I know is that racing games, I know that they never done well in this channel. I don't really care in the sense that I will still play them because they are one of my favorite genres. But yeah, every time I play a racing game, it's not a very popular one. Or I mean, I'm not talking about the game itself. I'm talking that the stream is not, doesn't get too much traction. I think part of it is the fact that there is no category in Twitch that just says arcade racing games or just racing games. So if it only say racing games, I feel like a lot of people that play simulators will be there. It would be so nice if there were more categories like STG shoot 'em ups. Like one for each genre of games. Yes, there are so many games that are so... They are so spread out, you know? Won't have people checking every single game of a genre. The category will be just full of Trackmania streamers. I mean, Trackmania has its own category that is already bursting. So I don't think that will be the case. Trackmania is already not only a popular game but also a popular Twitch category. Then you have something like, well, Daytona USA. Daytona USA is an extremely, well, at least it was, but the point is that it's a popular game, but the category is not, because obviously you don't have people playing that game 24/7. This is not like there's much to do anyways. So games like that, instead of like games like Trackmania or Osu, will always have people in the category simply because the content is essentially endless. But the games that have a beginning and an end, like it's also the case with shoot 'em ups, an individual category for each game will never be popular. Which is the reason why categories like STG shoot 'em ups are so good. But yeah, I just wish that existed for every genre. Because popular things like Trackmania will stay there. Popular things like Osu will stay there. But the less popular things, like I don't know, if I wanna play Dance Dance Revolution 5 on the PS1, like that specific game, on its own it wouldn't do shit, but if you attach it to a rhythm game category, it will do very well. That's something that Twitch is lacking. One of the many things it's lacking. So yeah, it will be so good. But the only two categories like that I know are this one, I Wanna Be the Guy, and STG shoot 'em ups. You also have retro, but retro is such a shit category because everything can be retro. If you like, it's such a a shit term to describe something, because it can include so many things that have nothing to do with each other. So yeah, everything is retro if you have a time machine. Yeah, you could say that. It's the one thing I wish that Twitch had, but it doesn't. And I don't understand why not, because you can, I mean, if you are Twitch, you can tell that there are literally millions of categories that will never have many viewers, because they are individual games released a long time ago that you beat them and they end. So they obviously wouldn't have that much people playing it. Nice. Unless it's a popular speedrunning game like Super Metroid, you're simply not gonna have people, like a significant amount of people in all the games. So those should be lumped together with a more specific category, but that at the same time allows for a healthy amount of people. And the STG Shoot 'em Ups one is absolutely perfect for that. So yeah, there should be one for each genre. A first-person shooter, third-person shooter. Though I do believe that those will be shitted just like the retro category by people playing games that have their own categories and they are not necessarily unpopular, but they do it there just so they compete with less people. Like for example, Fortnite. The Fortnite category, I'm pretty sure it's absolutely full of people, but if someone wants less competition, they could go to the third-person shooter category, right? That's the issue. So yeah, what can you do? Hey, I don't know. I mean, it's just a fact that discovery is just very bad in most platforms. If you are not a known name, discovery is very hard. If you're not already known, it's hard to get known. But it's also, as I also always say, a matter of supply and demand. There is a very big supply of streamers, but the demand is not that high. The demand is only there for, you know, the streamers that are already there. But it's whatever. As long as I have games to play that I want to. There are also sometimes problems like you see, normally you want, like, if I play a game it wouldn't make any difference to play it by myself or to play it while streaming. But there's also the possibility that some games are hard to set up. Well, for example, the game that I played yesterday, Daytona Championship USA, wasn't that easy to set up, at least to the point I was satisfied with. Those sort of things, those will probably be perhaps better to not stream. But I don't know. Still, the biggest problem I have with streaming is the preparation to the stream. Whether the preparation includes selecting the game or simply making it work, it's the most annoying part about streaming. I don't know. There are a lot of things that are worth taking into account. When it comes to internet media, or well, more specifically content creation as most people like to call it, effort doesn't always translate to exposure. A good example is the daily videos that Draenor did. I mean, the ones that were actual videos and not shorts, Draenor puts a lot of time, or well, put a lot of time into those, and yet they perform way worse than the shorts. Now, obviously, if you don't care about that, it's not a problem, but I think it is a problem when the effort becomes an annoyance, because you are like, well, I'd rather not go through that effort. But at the same time, that will make, in my case, the stream have many repeating games, like for example this one, or Project Diva, or I don't know, games like NES games, because I know they will work. Actually, maybe not those. Anything emulator related probably wouldn't be like that. But it will be a lot more, repetitive. And I feel like that on the long run is worse, because, I mean, worse for me, not necessarily for the streams, or whatever the stream does. I mean, more for me to have fun, because playing the same games over and over again eventually gets tiresome. So trying to make new games work is something that is necessary to be able to have variety. Sometimes doing that and also doing it before a stream, that's the annoying part. Well, another thing that I guess I could do is that it's not necessary that I stream every day. I just do it because I feel like otherwise it will be more boring to me. If I don't stream every day, I will be bored for those 3 hours that I normally stream. But yeah, a lot of things to think about, I guess. What's important now is getting past this fucking checkpoint. Doesn't seem to be happening. Well, the biggest obstacle here is the gate champ before the champ refresher, obviously. Still wasn't able to get past that. Hey Yannick, how is it going? Is that a new emote? Splash Tail. Well, it certainly looks like one. Wait, why is it called Splash Tail? That's not a tail. That's a mouth. That's literally the opposite of a tail. Are these people stone? It looks like bogfish. Yeah, it's the idea. Just that the name makes no sense. It's the name of a Pokemon. Yeah, I think that... I mean, the only Pokemon that comes to my mind will be... Well, no, the problem is that I'm thinking of shit like Magikarp, but Splash is the name of the move, not the Pokemon. Yeah. It's alright. So I heard that you are a slave to gacha now, Yannick. Is that true? Well, is that true? No, I know it is true. But then... It's alright. I mean... Very true. I don't know, dude, like, today I was, well, today, like just recently, a couple minutes ago, I was talking about how sometimes preparing games for stream to make sure, to make sure they work and all of that, sometimes it's very annoying. So if there were days that I didn't stream simply because setting up the game is too much of a pain in the ass, those days, I don't know, I probably will be playing a gacha too. Like, if at some point I stop streaming, I probably will fall into that. I hope not. Like, I hope instead of getting addicted to gacha, I get addicted to fighting games. Like, I get addicted to just play Street Fighter 6 daily. That will be something. The problem with that is that I will need a lot of self-control to not want to punch something, because online games make me very salty, and even more so when it comes to fighting games. Streaming, yeah, it's keeping me safe from gacha. Well, not just streaming, but also the fun game I'm making. I was able to figure out a bullet, well, no, that will be a lie. It's not that I was able to figure out bullet patterns, it's rather that I copied them from the Yo-Yo-Yo project. Because I don't understand how the engine I use lacks so many things that I feel that should be mandatory. The fact that you don't have a single boss sample is, I feel like, very bad. Obviously the fact that it's a working engine is already good enough, but come on dude, it didn't cost you anything to include a boss sample. You know? So yeah, I had to take the boss code from, well, the Miku avoidance code from the Yo-Yo-Yo engine shit, and with that I was able to arrange some things to actually make the boss attack with patterns, move around the screen. So I think mechanically the base of the boss is mostly done. I was even able to make a hell bar appear. So thankfully, Game Maker already provides you with a hell bar for free. You have a function that just lets you spawn a hell bar that is not very customizable and it's very generic, but it's good enough for me. So the base of the boss is mostly done. Now I actually have to worry about the attacks, like designing them, which is the hard part. Because aside from having creativity, it's also a matter of how do I pull them off. Because with Needle, pulling it off wasn't hard, it was putting spikes on the screen and shit. But when it comes to these boss attacks, you can have something on your mind, but you lack implementing that logic. Be sure not to take the song too. Yeah, no, don't worry about it. That I only copy-pasted code. I didn't. In fact, Game Maker Studio is very stupid in that regard because you cannot have two projects open at the same time. So instead of copying objects or anything like that, what I did is simply open the project files with a text editor and grab the event code and well also some utility code from there and pasted it to my project. The Game Maker is a piece of shit, dude. Like, there are so many things that Game Maker doesn't do well, and so many things that does it complicated for no reason. Like, the whole alarm concept is so fucking shit. I can't believe that someone looked at that and thought it was a good idea. There are so many better ways to implement event, like time based triggers. Alarms is one of the worst ways you can implement them, and yet it's unfortunately the way it works in Game Maker. So yeah, I feel like after I'm done with this fun game, I might not make another fun game, not because of laziness or because of how much of a pain in the ass to make this one was, which it was, but I think that wouldn't be the reason. I think the reason will be that I rather, if I'm gonna make into game development, I rather get experience in Unity. I don't know how Unity is, I never worked with it, but it cannot be a coincidence that everyone uses Unity. It simply cannot. So timelines are even worse than alarms because you can only view one of them at a time. Well, but timelines is something that is more of a like an added utility, in the sense that you can do what is done with timelines simply by doing code. Alarms, you can also do it by using code, but the problem is that it's something that even shit like Java supports. Java, a programming language that is not made precisely to handle static timing shit, handles timing better than Game Maker. That's how stupid it is. Like, Java, something that is not meant to make video games, and in fact is very shit to make video games, but yet it implements a simple time waiting function way better than something that is supposedly specifically made for video games. It's just nonsensical. Yeah, I know that they are fun game on Unity, but I don't know. I know that people get very anal when the fun game doesn't have perfect physics. And even if you do have fun game engines in Unity, I doubt that they will replicate the Game Maker feel exactly how it is. So yeah, I don't know. But then again, it doesn't have to be a fun game the next thing I do. It will simply be my own game independent game. I mean, if I make an independent game, I would like to make an arcade racing game. There are way too little of those. So I feel like we could use one of those. Because when it comes to things like platforming games, obviously I could do that, and it would also be easier than making a racing game. But we have too many indie platforming games. But in fact, it's most likely the most popular genre to make an indie game. And that's not the problem. The problem is that I cannot think of anything unique. Like if I make an indie, a pretty nice fucking motorcycle, I hope you die. Anyways, back to the topic. I cannot think of anything to make as a platforming game that will be unique. Like I will just be copying, even subconsciously, another game. And I mean, that's not a problem because that's something that most games do, but it will just get lost in the sea of mediocre platforming indie games that are already available. But if I could pull off an arcade racing game, I feel like that at least will be something that is in need. It doesn't have much demand at all, but at least it will fill a void that is not very filled nowadays. But yeah, that could be an option. Especially since a lot of arcade racing games nowadays are trying to copy the formula of Forza. What was the name? Forza Horizon. Everyone is trying to copy Forza Horizon in one way or another. So, to make something more actual arcade oriented, that will be cool. It's not like it will be something unique because obviously I will base myself on shit like Ridge Racer, obviously. But it will be at least more unique than a lot of other ideas. Where will you get the music from? That's not a problem, I can do that myself. Even if it ends up being mediocre, that's something I know how to do. The real problem will be the textures. To make textures that not only don't look generic but also don't look like shit. That will be the hardest thing. All the graphic things, that will be the problem. Yeah, I made some music, well, some remixes. I didn't compose anything myself. Composing is a whole nother beast. But yeah, if it is making music, I can do it. That being said, a project like that will take way longer than the fan game that I'm making now. It probably will take half a decade and I'm not joking. So it will have to be something that I really feel to commit to. And I probably wouldn't feel to commit to something like that. But what I do know is that even that is a better idea to me than continue using Game Maker. Like, doesn't matter what it is, but whatever I do next, it has to be done in Unity. Hey, I don't know. I can also just take the Yannick peel and play gacha. Because that's the thing, who says that I need to be productive? I'm already productive at work. Why do I need to be productive in my free time? Like, sure, you can say that it gives you more satisfaction, but that's relative. That's very relative. Because as I say, there are some games that I play on stream that require a lot of preparation simply to make them work and also make sure that everything looks right and sounds right on stream. And yet they are games that perhaps last an hour. And also that they are not games that are very that people care too much about. So even if that's technically something productive, I don't know how rewarding that would be. Wouldn't you prefer to leave more of an impact on the world? Well, but yeah, that's something that doesn't happen just by having the will to do it. Like, for example, if the purpose of my streams was making an impact on the world, if the content I create, well, if you can call it content, but if the streams I do, if their objective was that, I'm afraid that I kinda fail on doing that. Especially after being streaming for so long, you know. So if that was my main objective from streams, I would have failed it. And when it comes to making a game, I don't expect it to be any different. I understand that there are some people that are simply not cut to be creative, and I'm one of those. I can make something, and I can make something functional that works, but going from that to leaving an impact on the world, that's another jump. Because yeah, you have these stages. Not try, and making it. Now, trying is obviously something that you should do, so at least you know, you don't have the doubt of what will happen if you try. It's a learning experience to try. But to actually make it, to leave an impact with that attempt, something that can not happen and most likely won't happen. So that's the thing. In those cases, yes, trying is important, but it's important to try a reasonable amount. Wait, hold up. Fuck. Trying an amount where you are like, well, an attempt was made, on to the next thing, right? Nothing more satisfying than pulling a 5-star, of course. But yeah, that's what I mean, like, if you attempt something and it didn't work, I feel like a more healthy thing to do instead of keep trying, stubbornly. I don't think that's a word, but instead of being stubborn and keep trying, sometimes it's better to just do something else. And that something else that you do doesn't have to be productive, you know. You know that there is a game, an RPG Maker horror game called The Crook Man. It's a popular one, or at least relatively popular. And the game is whatever. I mean, it has some cool scenes. It's nice, but there is one scene, even if the fail condition is quite bullshit, there is one dialogue in that game that is about a guy. I don't remember exactly what he was trying to do. I think he was trying to like graduate from something. I can't remember since it's been so long since I watched that game, but he was trying to graduate and he was still failing. And you could, he was at the verge of suicide, in which, yes, is quite a big jump from what I'm trying to say, but like, you had options to answer him so he will drop the gun. And the options, well, I don't even remember if it was a gun or a knife. I think it was a knife. The gun was another NPC. But the point is that the option that made him not kill himself was the one saying, well, that's life, bro. If something doesn't work out, do something else. If you keep trying the same shit, you're gonna obliterate yourself. Because you could tell him, well, don't give up, bro, you can do it. And if you do that, I think he kills himself. But maybe I'm confusing it with another NPC. Or did it kill you? Man, it's been so long since I watched that I don't remember. But I do remember that the right option was telling him, that's life, bro. I can't remember what were the consequences of failing. Either dying or him dying. But yeah, there were two different NPCs and I'm probably combining them. Because there was another one that did have a gun. And like if you wanted to avoid him to kill himself, you were supposed to punch him in the face, which is a pretty funny option. Because the other options were saying, don't do it, and he does it anyways, and the other one was trying to take away his gun, which will result in you dying. So the right choice was punching him. But yeah, that's another NPC. The one I'm talking is telling him, that's life, don't give up, and I don't remember what the third option was. But essentially the right one is telling him, that's life, do something else. Now obviously here we are not talking about that amount of mental breakdown. Wait, what the hell is... Wait, there's something... Did you see that? My character was going up and down. That was a bug. But how did it happen? Like, I landed in this platform and somehow was inside the block? Huh. Well, that's weird. It's either the first time it happens or the first time I notice it. Just tell him the new gacha has login bonus, of course. It's just send him Bernie's introduction video. Man, that shit is crazy. I can't believe that exists. But yeah. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that there are some things that it's okay, it's good to try. In fact, it's the best thing you can do. But at some point, if things don't work out the way you were expecting them to work out, you probably should stop instead of continuing. Because I think the more you try something that is not working out and the more you fail, the bigger will be the regret when you eventually decide to stop. You know? Because you will be like, damn, I wasted all this time for nothing. So, in the case of video game making, like, if your intention is, as Wasabi said, leaving an impact in the world, that's something that you can try, of course. But if it doesn't work out the way you were expecting, you either should recalculate in the sense that, okay, doing what I'm doing is not working out, so I either need to take a loan to actually make a serious production on a video game, or I should just stop with this whole video game making thing altogether. The important thing is knowing when to stop. It's kind of like when you gamble in a casino. Well, I wouldn't do that, and I know a lot of people wouldn't do that either. But like, at some point, if you're winning and you already are making bank from playing, there is a point where it comes, maybe this is a good time to stop. right? And you should do that before not only you go negative, but also you you start getting mental breakdowns of how much money you are losing. It's important to know when to quit. It is just as important as trying. Both things are important. Because if you never try, I think that you don't have an excuse to complain. If, for example, you want to make an indie game that becomes super popular, just like things like Undertale, as a random example that just came to my mind, right? Alright, if you want to do that, you should try. You should make a game, finish it, and release it. If that doesn't work out, I feel like that's a good time to be like, alright, that didn't work out, so it's better to do something else. Assuming your objective is making a popular game. If you just want to make a game for people to play and you don't give a shit about the amount of people that play it or whatever profit you could get from it, then obviously go for it. But if an expectation is not fulfilled, there are some times with things like this that take so long to make, like a video game, that it's probably better to do something else. Oh, you clip the glitch? Nice. That was a funny one, because now it's not happening. But yeah. I think that that's the ideal thing. Try, and if it doesn't work, do something else. Well, even if it does work, you can do something else simply to have some variety. It's just that, for example, if you're able to make a game, and your objective is to be super popular, and it becomes super popular, you probably would want to do a follow-up. Since your objective was popularity all along, making another one seems like the obvious choice. But yeah, it's all a matter of objectives and shit like that. And that also goes back to what I said about gachas, you know? I don't think that playing a gacha or any game that requires playing it a lot daily, I don't think it's a bad idea, because not being productive is not a bad idea. You can do whatever you want, you know? But yeah, maybe one day I will become Yannick Peel and start juggling gachas. All I hope is that when that day comes, instead of gachas, it's fighting games. And I hope that when that day comes, the fighting game I choose is not dead. Since my choice will most likely be Street Fighter 6, I think I'm safe. Street Fighter 6, well, obviously is the current most popular fighting game without a doubt, but it's a Street Fighter. Like, Street Fighter always has people playing it, because it's just the way it is. But if you pick Street Fighter, you cannot go wrong. I feel the pressure to be more productive. Yeah, that's understandable. That's something that's even natural. You know, it doesn't even have to have external factors like people telling you that. It's something that is born from yourself, the desire to be productive, because it's just, you know, the way we are wired. I mean, as humans, we obviously evolve a lot slower than the technology surrounding us. So our current situation of being able to do shack shit for a long amount of times and just consuming entertainment constantly is something that wasn't really possible years ago. So we still have that thing in us to be productive. Fuck. Simply as a survival mechanism, even with survival is not being threatened. But it's something that will take a lot of generations to go away, if it even goes away, because you never know. In a year, maybe everything goes to shit and you no longer can have this and you actually will need to be productive to survive. It's a possibility. But yeah, it's just one of those things that is hard-coded for now into us. So you can get rid of that. But I think that productivity, well, the word productivity comes from product, producing. But it doesn't always have to be an actual product. Like, for example, I think the keyword here shouldn't be productive. It should be fulfilling, which is a way more generic term than productive, even less specific. But, for example, especially in this day and age with tools like Discord being available, I feel like joining a Left 4 Dead 2 party, right? Like a group of people playing Left 4 Dead 2 and like beating one of the stages in a high difficulty with other people, even if that's something that is not productive whatsoever from the point of view of product. You are not generating anything that you can, well, touch is not the word, but anything that you can measure. I feel like that having fun with other people is also as fulfilling, if not more, than being productive with something that you can measure. I think that that's something you could do when you're starting to feel when you're starting to feel the urge to be productive. Instead of doing that, you could try looking for people to play a specific game. I don't know what game, but there are a lot of options. Games like Left 4 Dead are still being played to this day. Well, MMO, some of them are dead, but there are a lot that are still there, and, you know, connecting with other people, nice, is still possible. But it's not just a matter of, you know, being able to achieve something that might or might not be hard, but also connect with other people that have similar interests to you. That could be fulfilling in its own way. Not to mention that from a mechanical standpoint, you are also being useful to them because you are helping them fulfill an objective. Which in this case, obviously, the objective is a game, but that doesn't matter. So yeah, you could try that whenever you are feeling the urge to be productive. Maybe you could join a Discord of a specific game that you know that is played co-op, and start looking for people to do that. Well, you could also use my Discord and see if someone here wants to play something. It's just that in generic Discords like mine, where there isn't really any specific profile of people, it's a lot harder to find someone to play with, not to mention that the length is also, well, the size is very low. But, I mean, small, not low. Team, we have another one of these floors with a lot of checkpoints. Last time it was, I think, floor 30 something. That was a long time ago. But it's nice to see it again, though. Anyways, back at what I was saying, you could try doing that. And you tell me how it goes, because that's something that I feel like I could also be interested in. Not now that I'm streaming and also making that fan game, but whenever I finish the fan game, or if at some point I decide to stop streaming, that could be a nice thing to do. I guess the hard thing will be finding people that you will resonate with. That's the hardest part. Especially on the internet, that there are so many assholes around. I would at least expect that people looking for co-op will be more well fitted than like random internet trolls. But yeah, I don't know. That looks hard. Also, there aren't really that many checkpoints here like there were in that other floor that I was thinking of. In that other floor there was almost a checkpoint per champ. Here you actually have multiple champs per checkpoint, even if there are a lot of them. So yeah. So, at least, here is the thing. Even if I cannot beat this floor today, I was able to do 5 floors in one stream. That's not as good as the previous stream, but it was a good amount of progress. I mean, doing a full zone as progress is good progress. Yeah. Good shit. But it would also be nice to be able to make it to the net zone. Though, considering the current time, I don't know if I can do that. Some of these checkpoints, even if they look short, they could be extremely hard as well, so I don't know. They could and will. Yeah. You wanna feel productive, you can play Street Fighter. See, that game is not co-op, it's the opposite, it's competitive. Maybe you can feel productive by knowing that you made someone salty. No, but I mean, you can find someone in a fighting game that is very close to your skill level. And when that happens, fighting someone like that is just very, very fun. Problem is finding that. In a game like Street Fighter 6, there are so many people playing it that probably shouldn't be that big of a problem. A different story if your idea is playing a game like, I don't know, Schoolgirls. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck finding someone that is still playing that game but also that is playing it and won't completely obliterate you in 10 seconds. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. And again, that game deserves to die into obscurity for the developers being some of the biggest bitches that I've seen in the video game developing sphere. Well, there are worse bitches than that, but usually worse bitches than that are in games that are from multi-millionaire companies, because those companies don't give a shit as long as they get paid. But here we're talking about an indie studio. So yeah, you have even less of a reason to be a bitch. And yet you did. So yeah, it is whatever. The moral of the story is play fighting games that actually have active player counts. That basically nails you down to 3 options: Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, or Strive. Well, and Strive, it depends, because they don't have the amount of activity the other two have. So yeah. Pick your poison. If you ask me, the clear choice is Street Fighter 6. I mean, I'm praising Street Fighter 6 so much that it feels like I'm being paid by Capcom, but no, I'm not. It's just that in this specific day and age, if your idea is to just play a popular fighting game, there is absolutely no reason for that fighting game to not be Street Fighter 6. It's just the logical choice. There is simply no reason to not pick that. Capcom is not paying me, I swear. No, damn it, I went too much to the right. Fuck. Yeah, free sponsorship. I'm doing it for free. And with the Re-Wiimote, that's pretty fitting as well. But yeah. Street Fighter is just... I mean, it's the definition of fighting games. Even with pieces of shit like Street Fighter 5, that game is still... It plays like a fighting game. Or rather, how a fighting game is supposed to be played. There are a lot of other games that try to approach the formula but miss the mark. Well, I mean, except for 3D fighting games, every other fighting game tries to copy Street Fighter, just adding more shit on top of it. But yeah, no one does it better than Street Fighter. It's just the way it is. What can you do? Differently from Street Fighter 5, at least SIDS gives you reasons to buy it. It's an actual full-fledged game. You don't need to go online to play it. You have offline content as well. Well, when I say that, I mean that you have single-player content. I don't know if you can play the game offline, though. I think it's one of those shitty situations where the game is always online, but I don't know about that. I didn't test it because I don't have it, but yeah, I think it most likely is. That's shitty, but yeah. Nice. It is what it is. Oof, that... You really want me to do that, Sham? Damn. That's pretty evil. That is white evil, even. I mean, that's... The first one is a nerf gate, and yeah, might as well be since you need to do it from a vine. But the second one is a gate. Come on, dude. Are you crazy? Then that's hard to do. Because you also have to... You have to hold your shank to get to the vine. Damn, that's crazy. Fuck, almost. Oh, that reminds me, speaking of games to play, I downloaded Warframe again. So, that's neat. It's been so long since I played it, probably a lot of shit to keep up. That's fine, nice, I got it. All I know is that it's a game that with my current computer I should be able to run well. Because it's a game that progressively got more and more graphically complex. So there came a point where my PC simply was not good enough. Well, now it is. So that's good. The amount of hours that I invested into Warframe is crazy. I don't know if I'm gonna invest that amount of hours again, but it might be. What's the idea of this? Wait, you can do that. You can hit your head with the ceiling, hold the sham button to do the vine sham, and you don't need to land on the left side at all. You can do that. Landing on the left side, if anything, will make it harder, since you need to hold the sham button, but there are spikes above. In fact, this bonk strategy might even be considered a skip of sorts. Well, calling it a skip will be an exaggeration, but... Nice. Yeah, you can do that. The left platform is completely unnecessary. Well, that was a pretty easy checkpoint. Wait, really? What is this checkpoint? Bro, how do you think that was hard to do? Like, yes, I died once, but is that enough to make it a single checkpoint? That's what I mean, dude. Was this tested? It's okay. I mean, at least I'm glad that it's easier this way. I'm not gonna complain about the game being too easy. It's just that it's silly to see these checkpoints next to checkpoints that take a lot longer. Specifically the first checkpoint of this floor. That first checkpoint is like 10 times harder than every other checkpoint so far in this floor. Well, and it seems that it will be for all of them. Okay, so this one you have to land it, yeah, exactly there, and then then the last jump is not that hard, but it requires some precision. Oops, I didn't jump. You gotta be a lot to the right on that one. Not just a little bit. Nice. Well, there you have it. I think it's a perfect way to stop on floor 66. I want to hear the song though. I don't recognize it, but it sounds cool. Well, like all of the songs in this game, really. But yeah, I think that will be it for me for today. This was very good progress. 6 floors in total. Not as good as the previous stream, but the previous stream was amazing. You don't want to play the Mario levels? What Mario levels? Is this a Mario song? I don't know. But all I know is that if there is any place that it's perfect to leave it, it's there. For sure, without a doubt. So yeah. Thanks everyone a lot for watching, and I'll be seeing you on the next stream. So have a good one and take care.